Nah, I'd win. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 217 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and have you ever seen someone do something really, really cool, yet hard, and your first thought is, yeah, there's no way I could do that. But what if instead your first instinct would be, nah, I'd win. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, leaving a like and subscribing really mean a lot. They're just one click, but they really, really make the difference. Thank you very much. So, let's start right ahead with the title of today. I know, it sounds cocky. Sounds like someone overconfident or just straight up arrogant would say. But the more I think about it, the more I believe it's actually one of the most powerful mindsets you can build for yourself, if you understand what's behind it. This is a quote that, if you're into anime, you know very, very well, but if you don't, it's from a character called Gojo, and he's portrayed as this unbeatable, untouchable, and yeah, untouchable has a meaning. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very, very fitting for him. And overall, on a whole different level. He just walks into a fight and knows that he's gonna win. He doesn't need to prove it. He is the proof of it. And it's cool, right? It's inspiring. We would all like that. But at the same time, it's kind of unreachable. Because, let's be real, most of us don't feel like that. We walk into a new challenge, be it a job interview, a presentation, a new gym, whatever it can be. It's a new experience. And usually, the first voice in our head says something like, yeah, you're not ready and you're gonna mess this up. So, what if, instead of that voice, the first thing we trained ourselves to think was, nah, I'd win. And not because we are already the best, and not because we've earned it, but because we're willing to believe it's possible. Now, here's the problem. Most people don't get this mindset because they try to skip steps. They see someone confident, someone killing it, someone winning overall, and they want to jump straight to that level. What happens? Frustration, disappointment, self-doubt, because they simply aimed too high, too fast, and didn't give themselves a chance to build a foundation. Confidence without proof just feels fake. And when you try to act confident but don't have any track record, your brain calls your bluff and it says, yeah, but have you ever actually won before? And you just freeze. So how do you get to that mentality? How do you make it real? You have to build proof. But this is the key. You have to build it small. You go, for example, to the gym one time. You manage to cook one healthy meal. You study 20 minutes instead of just scrolling. Or, to make it even more simple, you send one message you were scared to send. That's it. Suddenly, you won. It wasn't the whole thing. It wasn't the biggest win of your life, but it was a small win, and it's a real one. So, your brain takes note. It says, hey, maybe we have a chance. Over time, you stack these wins, and they compound. They become a memory. They become an identity. And slowly but surely, when something new shows up, something big, something scary, you don't say, I'm not ready. You say, nah, I think I can make it. Because now you have a reason to believe it. You're not faking it anymore. You've built it from the ground up. And here's the kicker. You won't get there if you only chase big wins. You need small reps. That's the trap people fall into. They only want the big victory. But without the small ones, the big one will never arrive. And I have to admit, sometimes I'm also guilty of this myself, specifically coming from a place where overall, I've always had the luck, because I don't know how to call it else, but I've always had the possibility of doing very well, very fast. So, similar to what I just told you, in my head, it was pretty normal to do well in something. So, over time, even though it was a new thing, even though it was something that I never did, I walked into that activity with the mindset of, yeah, I can make it. And overall, it has only been beneficial for me. And of course, not from a pure result-based execution. Sometimes those things were amazing and sometimes they were just decent. But overall, I believe that this kind of mentality and this way of thinking is your only key to success. Because the alternative is just setting your mind to not making it. So the thing is, winning doesn't mean dominating. It doesn't mean being better than everyone. It doesn't even mean never failing. It just means you keep showing up and each time you get a little better. And that mindset, it's unbeatable, as I just said. Because let's be honest, most people don't fail because they tried and they lost. They fail because they stopped trying, or overall, they didn't try enough. They give up after, one attempt. And they just convince themselves that confidence is something you're either born with or you're not. But it's not true. Confidence is a skill, it's a reward. And it's earned through doing things, especially small things, that prove to yourself, I can handle this, I can grow, and finally, I can win. So maybe next time you see someone do something that makes you feel small, someone performing or leading or shining in their lane, instead of shrinking, just try saying, yeah, that's cool, but I think I'd win. Say it in your head, say it out loud, it doesn't matter. Because that one sentence has power, and it has acquired power because of the way that you have acted in the past. So, sure, you might not be Gojo, you will never be, and you shouldn't be, because that's not the point. You shouldn't reach for something perfect. That is not achievable. But you can surely reach for something that is very, very good. So, keep stacking small wins, keep whispering that line, and sooner or later, it won't just be a feeling, it will be a fact. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. As I said, these episodes will be a bit more structured, and I hope that they were a bit more pleasant to listen overall. I know that the face expressions and overall being on camera, it's also something very beneficial, and I cannot say that I do not like it. But at the end of the day, it's also a choice, and it requires a lot more work than you might expect. So being able to prepare the episodes, it's something that also makes me feel better. So in the end, it's a win-win. If you ended up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really, really mean a lot. And overall, as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and see you tomorrow.